3 in the morning. In a nameless motel room off a highway on the outskirts of Las Vegas, the air is thick with the smell of cheap disinfectant and desperation. Huck sits on the edge of the bed, leaning forward, elbows on his knees. The screen of the phone in his hand is the only light in the room, its cold blue glow illuminating his bloodshot eyes and a day's worth of stubble. On the screen is a sports betting app. An obscure soccer league on the other side of the planet is in play. His finger hovers over the bet all button, trembling slightly but uncontrollably, like a puppet on an invisible string. Outside, a long-haul truck rumbles past, its horn tearing through the silence of the Nevada desert. The sound is eerily similar to the first cry he heard from his daughter outside the delivery room 7 years ago. The sun was bright that afternoon. He had just won his first big one on the Super Bowl, a windfall that made him feel like the king of the world. He had rushed out of the hospital, bought the most expensive bottle of champagne, and returned to the waiting room to boast about his luck and his newborn daughter to every face, familiar or strange, as if he had cracked the universe's code. That was the highlight of his life. Now the phone's cold light mercilessly reflects the glaring red number in his account, a mark of negative $48,500. This number isn't just money. It's the sum of countless lies to his family, missed dinners, a second mortgage on his house, and a mountain of high-interest payday loans he can never repay. Huck's story is not unique. In the United States, over 2 million people are struggling in the mire of gambling addiction like him, with nearly 10 million more at risk. As sports betting is legalized in state after state and online casinos become ever more accessible, this number is growing at an unprecedented rate. From Wall Street traders to Midwestern truck drivers, from Ivy League students to stay-at-home parents, gambling addiction is spreading like a silent plague, eroding American families across all social strata. When you Google the words, "how to stop gambling," tens of millions of results appear. There are cold statistics, heartbreaking tragedies, and various quick-fix secrets. But the purpose of this article is different. We are not here to judge, but to understand. We don't offer empty slogans, but a detailed, realistic, and actionable roadmap. Pillar I, the absolute fortress, total physical and digital isolation. In the early stages of recovery, you cannot trust your willpower. You need to create a safe house, an environment where it's impossible to gamble even if you want to. This requires a series of seemingly extreme, but absolutely necessary measures. First comes digital isolation. You must immediately delete all betting apps and related bookmarks from your phone, computer, and tablet. But that's not enough. You need to install specialized gambling site blocking software, such as Gambin or BetBlocker. Once installed, these applications cannot be uninstalled during the subscription period, effectively building a digital firewall for you. At the same time, you must proactively contact every online gambling platform you've ever registered with and request the permanent closure and deletion of your accounts. Utilize all state-level self-exclusion programs to add your name to the list of individuals banned from physical casinos and online platforms. Next is financial isolation, the core of this fortress. You need to temporarily surrender control of your finances. This may wound your pride, but it is a critical step to protect you and your family. Sit down with your partner or a family member or friend you absolutely trust and be honest about your situation. Open a new bank account, have your salary and other income deposited directly into it, and set it up to require dual signatures or for your financial guardian to hold the online banking password for any large transfers or withdrawals. Keep only a low-limit debit card for necessary daily expenses. All credit cards must be handed over to someone else for safekeeping or be canceled outright. Terminate all payment methods linked to gambling sites like PayPal or Venmo. The core idea of this process is to create as many obstacles and time delays as possible between you and your money, making impulsive gambling impossible. Finally, there is physical isolation. You need to reevaluate your daily routes and habits. If your commute takes you past a casino, plan a new route immediately, even if it's longer. If you're used to meeting friends at sports bars where gambling is available, you need to suggest new venues or temporarily stop attending these gatherings. You must act like a patient avoiding an allergen, proactively and decisively steering clear of any environment that could trigger your old habits. The very process of building this fortress is a powerful declaration of self. You are taking back control of your life with concrete actions. Pillar 2, the architect of thought, rebuilding your inner script. Isolation creates external safety, while cognitive restructuring builds internal fortitude. You need to become the architect of your own thoughts, demolishing the shaky, dilapidated structures built by gambling and rebuilding your mental edifice with the bricks and mortar of reason and reality. This requires applying some basic principles of cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, to actively examine and challenge your automatic thoughts. This process can begin with a simple exercise. Whenever a thought about gambling enters your mind, don't suppress it. Instead, examine it like a detective. First, identify the specific automatic thought, such as, I have a feeling I'll be lucky tonight, or, I'll just play with $100 and walk away if I lose. Then, you must interrogate this thought like a stern prosecutor. Ask yourself, what evidence do I have to support this lucky feeling? Based on my hundreds or thousands of past experiences, can I really stop after losing $100? What cognitive distortion is hiding behind this thought? The illusion of control, or the gambler's fallacy. Next, you need to construct a powerful, reality-based, rational rebuttal. This rebuttal should be specific and forceful. For example, when the thought, I'll just play with $100 appears, your rational rebuttal could be, no, I won't just play with $100. History proves that this 100 is just the beginning. It will bait me into losing 1,000 or more. The price of this $100 isn't just monetary. It will steal my sleep tonight, trigger a fight with my family, and make me wake up tomorrow in shame and regret. This momentary, false thrill is absolutely not worth such a heavy price. Write down these recurring automatic thoughts and your rational rebuttals. Keep them in your wallet or in a note on your phone. When you feel vulnerable, take them out and read them aloud to yourself. This isn't just a psychological trick. You are deliberately and repeatedly forging a new neural pathway in your brain. The old path leads to impulse and destruction. The new one you are building leads to reason and peace. Day by day, as you persist, the new pathway will become wider and more stable, while the old road to gambling will become overgrown and desolate from disuse. Pillar 3. The joy engine, creating new sources of fulfillment. Gambling holds such a powerful allure because it offers cheap, fast, and intense stimulation and gratification. The huge void left after quitting must be filled with new, healthy sources of joy, or the old addiction will inevitably return. You need to consciously design and start a brand new joy engine for yourself. First, you need to redefine joy and excitement. In the past, your thrill came from the highs and lows of money and uncertainty. Now, you need to explore activities that bring lasting, profound satisfaction. Take the money you would have lost each week or month and create a dedicated experience fund or growth fund. Then, invest that money in things that enrich your life. You can find replacements based on the different needs that gambling once met. If gambling gave you an adrenaline rush, try physical activities that can also generate excitement, like challenging a new route at a rock climbing gym, learning to ski or surf, or joining an amateur basketball league. In these activities, your excitement comes from physical challenge and skill improvement, not from hollow probabilities. If gambling was your way to escape reality and kill boredom, you need to find hobbies that can get you into a state of flow. Learn an instrument, like the guitar or piano. Time will fly by as you immerse yourself in the melody. Sign up for a woodworking, pottery, or cooking class. The sense of accomplishment from creating something tangible with your own hands is incomparable to any gambling win. Or, you can dive into the world of knowledge by enrolling in an online course to learn programming, a new language, or a historical subject you've always been interested in. If gambling was your way of seeking social connection, you need to build new, healthy social circles. Join a hiking club and meet like-minded friends on the trails. Participate in a book club and share intellectual sparks with others. Or volunteer at a local animal shelter or community center. In helping others, you will find your own sense of worth and belonging. One recovering individual shared that he took the $500 he used to lose each week and used it to pay for weekend camping trips with his son. Together they learned to pitch a tent, told stories by the campfire, and fished in the early morning mist. He said, I used to use that money to buy myself anxiety and lies. Now, I use the same money to buy memories that my son and I will cherish for a lifetime. That's a trait I finally got right. Pillar 4. The mirror of truth, confronting debt and shame head-on. One of the heaviest legacies of gambling is debt and the immense shame that accompanies it. Many gamblers would rather continue struggling in a web of lies than face this ugly reality. But only when you summon the courage to look into this mirror of truth can you truly begin to break free from the shackles of the past and walk the path to integrity and freedom. The first step in this process is a ruthless but absolutely necessary financial reckoning. Find a quiet afternoon, get a pen and paper or open a spreadsheet. Then write down all of your debts without a single omission. This includes credit card balances, personal loans, payday loans, money borrowed from family and friends, and even pawned items. You need to list each creditor, the total amount owed, and most importantly, the annual interest rate. When you list all the numbers and see the final total, you might feel a wave of dizziness and despair. Allow yourself to feel this pain, but do not wallow in it. Understand that the point of this exercise is not self-punishment, but to transform a vague, massive, suffocating fear into a concrete, defined, and solvable problem. After the reckoning, you need to create a realistic repayment plan. You can learn about two main strategies: the snowball method, where you prioritize paying off the smallest debts first to gain a continuous sense of small victories to motivate you, or the avalanche method, where you prioritize paying off the debts with the highest interest rates, saving you the most money in the long run. It doesn't matter which method you choose. What matters is choosing one and sticking to it. Next comes the hardest step, confession. You need to proactively contact your creditors, especially the family and friends you have deceived or hidden the truth from. This requires immense courage. You can prepare a simple script beforehand. The core message should include, first, a sincere apology, admitting your mistakes and the harm you've caused. Second, a clear statement that you have started to quit gambling, are seeking help, and are on the road to recovery. Third, presenting the repayment plan you've developed based on your situation, and promising to communicate your progress regularly. This process will make you feel extreme shame, but that shame is a powerful sobering agent. It bursts the abscess of lies, allowing you to be cleansed by the light of truth. You will find that most people who truly love you will choose to forgive and support you after you bravely take responsibility. And you, because of this financial coming out, will have completely cut off your own path to continuing to lie and borrow money to gamble. It is a painful but necessary rite of passage into adulthood. Pillar V, the Covenant Alliance, building unshakable family support. Gambling is never a one-person problem. It is a systemic family illness. Therefore, recovery can never be a solo battle. You need to form a solid covenant alliance with your family, especially your partner. The core of this alliance is a written, clear recovery agreement that both parties commit to honoring. This agreement should be drafted by you and your partner together, and its content must be specific and actionable. In the agreement, you should write down your responsibilities, such as committing to attend Gamblers Anonymous meetings or professional counseling, promising to maintain complete financial transparency, and pledging to reach out to your partner immediately when you feel the urge to gamble. Equally important, the agreement must also clearly define your partner's role and responsibilities. The partner's role is that of a supporter, not a police officer, judge, or jailer. Their responsibility is to provide emotional encouragement and oversee the execution of the financial plan you created together, not to search your pockets or treat you with suspicion and accusation. The agreement can explicitly state that the partner commits to ending rescue behaviors, such as paying off your gambling debts or lying for you. At the same time, encourage your partner to also seek support, for instance by attending Gam-Anon support groups for the friends and family of gamblers, so they can also process their own trauma and anxiety. The agreement should also include a clear reward system and a relapse response plan. For example, you can agree that for every 30 days you remain gamble-free, a fixed amount of money will be deposited into a family dream fund for a long-awaited trip or a home improvement. You must also frankly discuss what to do if a relapse occurs. The plan might include, upon relapse, you agree to immediately hand over full financial control and increase the frequency of support group meetings or counseling sessions. Having a plan in place beforehand can prevent emotional arguments and chaos in a crisis, allowing you to handle the situation according to a pre-agreed protocol and minimize the damage. This covenant elevates quitting gambling from your personal struggle to a joint family project. It acts as a declaration to everyone that you are working together to fight this common enemy and rebuild trust in your family's future. Pillar 6, the professional lifeline, making good use of expert external aid. A drowning person who, while struggling to save themselves, grabs onto a lifebuoy thrown by professional rescuers will undoubtedly increase their chances of survival. On the path to quitting gambling, you do not need to, nor should you, go it alone. Utilizing mature, professional external support systems is the wisest and most effective path to a successful recovery. In the United States, there are various resources available to you. A crucial starting point is the National Council on Problem Gambling, NCPG. You can call their national helpline at 1-800-GAMBLER. The operators provide confidential initial consultations and can refer you to appropriate local resources based on your location. The most well-known and accessible help is Gamblers Anonymous, GA. This is a non-profit fellowship based on the 12-step recovery program, with free in-person and online meetings all over the world. At a GA meeting, you will meet people from all walks of life and all ages who have struggled in the abyss of gambling, just as you have. Here, you don't need to pretend or feel ashamed, because everyone understands your experience. By listening to others' shares and telling your own story, you will receive immense emotional support and a sense of belonging, and you will learn invaluable practical experience from veterans who have maintained long-term recovery. If you are not comfortable with the 12-step philosophy, there are other options, such as Smart Recovery. This is a self-help organization based on cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. It does not emphasize a higher power, but focuses on teaching you practical skills to manage your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors helping you build a recovery model based on self-empowerment and self-management. In addition to support groups, seeking professional therapy is also vital. You can look for therapists who specialize in addiction, particularly those with a certified gambling counselor credential. A professional therapist can help you dig deeper into the underlying psychological reasons for your gambling behavior, such as childhood trauma, depression, anxiety, or other co-occurring issues. They can provide you with a personalized treatment plan, teach you more effective coping skills, and help you repair family relationships damaged by gambling. In some severe cases, such as when your gambling is completely out of control and accompanied by serious mental health issues, a short-term inpatient rehab or an intensive outpatient program, IOP, may be necessary. These programs provide a highly structured and protected environment, allowing you to temporarily remove yourself from all triggers and receive intensive, comprehensive treatment. Please let go of the pride of "I can handle this myself" or the misconception that seeking help is a weakness. Bravely reach out and grab these professional lifelines. They will become the most reliable signposts and the most solid support on your journey to recovery. Pillar 7. The Phoenix Reborn, Finding Meaning in Suffering. When your life gradually stabilizes and is no longer dominated by the impulse to gamble and the pressure of debt, the journey of recovery enters a deeper level, the search for meaning. Austrian psychiatrist Viktor Frankl proposed in his book, Man's Search for Meaning, that humanity's deepest drive is the pursuit of meaning. Transforming your painful, destructive gambling experience into something valuable and meaningful is the key to achieving ultimate healing and rising from the ashes like a phoenix. There are many paths to finding meaning. One of the most direct is service. In the tradition of Gamblers Anonymous, when members have maintained a period of recovery, they become a sponsor to help new members who have just joined. By sharing your experience, listening to the pain of newcomers, and offering them guidance and encouragement, you not only solidify your own recovery, but, more importantly, you turn your scars into a map that can light the way for those who come after you. Your suffering acquires a new, positive meaning because it has helped another person. Another path is advocacy and creation. You can gather your courage to share your story, anonymously or publicly, at community events, schools, or relevant organizations to warn others, especially young people, about the dangers of gambling. Or, you can turn your experiences into a blog, a podcast, or even a work of art. The creative process itself is a powerful form of healing. It forces you to organize, reflect upon, and understand your past. When you shape chaotic, shameful memories into a structured, insightful narrative, you transform from a passive victim into an active storyteller. You reclaim the power to interpret your own life story. One architect who had lost everything found that after his recovery, he devoted all his spare time to volunteering to design and build transitional housing for the homeless. He said, "I was once obsessed with using numbers and probabilities to build a fantasy empire of wealth, and it ultimately destroyed my family. Now I use my professional skills, brick by brick, to build real homes that provide shelter for those who have also hit rock bottom. In these real brick walls, I have found a meaning more solid than any casino chip." Ultimately, the most important way to find meaning is to reconnect. Reinvest all the time, money, and mental energy you once spent on gambling back into your family and relationships. Become a truly present father or mother, listening attentively to your children's every story. Become a reliable partner, rebuilding trust with actions, not words. Become a sincere friend, giving your full attention to your loved ones when they need you. In these repaired and nourished relationships, you will discover that life's deepest meaning comes not from winning something, but from giving and loving. Your suffering will ultimately become a source of your empathy and wisdom, making you a more complete and profound person.